Hi, I'm Jess Bolton, and this is the Daily Mirror's Jess Saying Live. And we are today having a Love Island special ahead of Monday's big final. I am joined by two of my favourite Islanders that have been on this year. It's Sharon Gaffka and Matthew MacNabb. Thank you, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Lovely that you've come to join us at the Mirror today. How have you both been since leaving?
I've been amazing. Yeah, it's been hectic. It's been so much going on, but yeah, I'm really excited for what's to come, and it's been amazing. So,
how about you, Sharon?
Yeah, I mean, hectic is probably one way to put it, right? I've been pretty much non-stop, but I prefer to be kept busy. So yeah, I can't really complain, and I'm really enjoying it.
Are you two? What are you missing from the villa at the moment? If I had to say what's one thing you've missed from the villa, what would it be?
Definitely the people.
That's nice.
There's so many friends in there, and I was emotional leaving because of the people in there. So especially not even the friends inside, but around the villa as well, the staff, all the Love Island team and stuff. You miss them a lot.
Yeah, I would definitely say people, but I'm also missing the weather. I'm not going to lie. I'm missing the sun. It's pretty bad where I am. So
I love that. Is there one thing you're glad to be rid of now you're out of there?
Definitely the schedule. Yeah, it's very regimented in there. You don't realize. So
how is it? Yeah, you don't realise at all. I just thought that you all got up when you felt like it and lounged around all day.
No, it's not. There's some nights I was literally falling asleep, like talking to people. I was so tired, but yeah, it's amazing.
Did they tell you when you can go to bed?
Yeah, very much. And then when you wake up as well, which is one thing I don't miss, having the light turned on like that.
Those lights, oh my god.
No.
Have you had any of your family members that said, can you just come in and turn on a bright light to wake me up in the morning in my eyes?
Oh god.
It's awful that. No, obviously it's the final on Monday, so we're going to have a little chat through all the couples that are left, just to see who you think might actually take the title. So have you both been watching it since you came out?
Yeah.
It's got good this year, hasn't it? There was a little bit at the beginning. Everyone was like, "Oh, is it going to be?" But it got really good in the last few weeks, especially. But I've missed having you on there, Sharon. I'm not gonna lie. I love your comment about men in white jeans, because I think
no.
kind of guy you meant by that.
White jeans all the way. Come on.
No, I don't know why I don't know why I have a thing about them, but I just don't think they look nice, so I just don't like them. Sorry, Matt.
I haven't seen them in person.
You're a fan of white jeans, aren't you?
I am. I love white jeans.
But you don't strike me as a typical white jean male, so don't take any offence from Sharon.
No, it's okay. I think that's what it is. I think it's a stereotype associated to it, right? So you're just like, oh. But I'm willing to be proved wrong.
Kind of stereotype with that, it's the modern equivalent of the white stilettos Essex girl, isn't it?
Yeah.
The white jeans Essex boy. So out of the couples that we've got left, I just want to hear what you think about them. So first up, we've got Djibouti. So it's all happening with them. Obviously, last night we saw Liberty very emotionally say that she thought they should break up. Jake didn't really seem to put up that much of a fight. There seems to be a question mark now whether they've left the villa today. Some people saying they have. Love Island aren't commenting. The thing is whether they've left together, because she's now wearing his bracelet again in the little preview clip we saw last night. But are you surprised about what's happened to Jake and Liberty since you both left?
I'd say I am, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it as well. Although I did feel since the movie night, like that hit Jake pretty hard, and it sort of created a few doubts between them. And since then, it's just went downhill, so It's but I enjoyed that now, like not them, but
Yeah.
it's created a lot of doubt since then. You've seen it, and I think Jake's doubting himself a lot more now. Maybe, yeah. So
Yeah. You were quite a big supporter of them at the beginning, is that right, Sharon? You actually would have gone for Jake, but thought Liberty had a good connection.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jake had to do his entrance quite a few times because he can't get it right the first time. So like, you know, I was stood next to Lib in the lineup, and I think you could just tell there was like an instant connection, like an instant attraction there. And yeah, like I just don't think there was any. Like, I didn't feel that vibe of anyone else coming in compared to anyone else that was stood in the lineup. So for me, I kind of felt like they would be set from day one. And obviously, when I was in the villa, it was pretty much still that honeymoon phase where it was like the first part of someone's relationship. So, I mean, obviously, Matthew saw the last part, so his opinion might be very different to mine. But I was dead set on them winning since day one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They seemed like they were going to be like a shoe-in, like Danny and Jack in previous years, you know, get straight up to the final with no problems. Obviously, it all changed. What do you think? Is Jake a game player, as people have accused him of?
No, I don't have any idea of that, and I take what's face value. Like, and face value for me is that Jake really got on with her. Really, they're inseparable. Really, when I was there, so yeah.
So you reckon he is genuine, and you know it's just that it's come across because Faye's called him out several times saying he's fake and not genuine. But is there something we're not seeing behind the scenes with them too? Because Liberty was talking about all these little comments and stuff that he's made, or has that sort of got, you know, twisted a little bit, and that's not Jake at all, and we're seeing a sort of wrong side of him. He's not this, you know.
I mean, I don't think he's playing a game. I just think personally he's not handled things as well as he could have or should have. And that's probably why he's had that like kind of public backlash, and probably the same backlash from Faye, because, you know, to all of the girls in the villa, Faye, Lib is like a little sister. And Faye very much took that motherly role over all of the girls in the villa. So, you know, she's probably just putting that really protective defensive on, where she doesn't think that Jake's stepping up to the plate as much as he should have. And from what I've seen, I would agree on that. I don't think he's reassured Lib as much as he could have or should have.
No, he could have done more last night, couldn't he? He sort of gave in a bit, I felt, and then tried to be like, oh, maybe you're right, maybe we should break up. Which, I was like, it's time for the grand gesture, not for relenting and agreeing with her if he really wanted to keep her. But it's. Do you think they will go the distance if they have reunited, as we've sort of been teased in that preview clip that suggests they might be leaving, but they might be back together again? Do you think they can go the distance? Are they just one of these tempestuous couples?
You know what? I don't know if they'll win or not, but on the outside, you have to think like when you're in there, they've been in since the start. They've been with each other from the start. That's like what, 7-8 weeks together without any break. Like in a normal relationship, that's very difficult. Like, so you know, what I seen of them is that they're inseparable. They really loved each other and got on well. So on the outside, maybe they get a bit of space and see what they want. Yeah, I could see it working.
Yeah, I could as well.
We had a nice comment. We had a comment there from Chris, who's saying that he thinks Faye's just manipulative and putting things into Liberty's head so that she's now confused. So suggesting Faye might be trying to break up the favourite couple originally. What do you guys think? Would Faye do that?
I mean, that comment kind of also suggests that Lib can't make her own mind up. And I completely disagree with that comment, because I think Lib's a very intelligent girl and she knows what she thinks and feels. And, you know, I don't like knowing Faye on a different level, a very personal level. I don't think that she would do that. I don't think she'd have it in her.
Yeah, no, that's good. You know, what that you said about doing the entrance multiple times, I actually never realised that you would refilm that. So like a few times. How many times? Who had to do the entrance the most times?
I mean, I've only seen the boys do their entrance, so I was, or Jake out of the boys had to do it the most times. I'm pretty sure a couple of them only had to do it once, but yeah, Jake had to do it the most.
So then you've got to like sort of feign surprise as he comes in and be like, "Ooh."
I think it was quite funny because like every time he did it, it was like he was giving it more energy. So like watching him do it every time was quite funny.
I was going to say, how can you mess up your entrance? What did he do? Fall over?
I think it was like a deer in headlights moment when you're really nervous and you're like, because it is a nerve-wracking situation. Like you're the first guy in there. There are 5 girls, and you don't know what you're walking into. So yeah, I think it's a deer in headlights moment that he just kind of like panicked and like didn't really know what to do.
It must be absolutely terrifying. I don't know how you all did it, to be honest. It's terrifying. Like the fact that you've got to go out in your swimsuit and know that you're on TV is terrifying enough, let alone all the coupling up. You must be having some kind of sort of PTSD from ever having to sit around a fire pit in the future. We got the next couple, which is Faye and Teddy, which I think is the most picture of Faye and Teddy. Now, they've obviously been right through the ringer. I actually think they're one of my favourites to potentially win on Monday because they seem to have come a long way. What do you guys think?
I love Teddy. Teddy's my boy, like, so I support him all the time. And I think Faye, I agree with Sharon, where Faye is actually a really nice person underneath the fiery side of it. But I do think that Teddy's kind of dragging their public opinion up because a lot of people love Teddy. Yeah. And Faye obviously had that big, argument and stuff where it didn't look good in her. And so I don't think they'll win it, but I could see them getting very close, like, maybe top 2, top 3.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I don't think Faye's a horrible person, but I do think that Teddy is carrying the public favour in this coupling. Yeah, I think it's a very mixed bag in terms of like Faye. I think it very much depends on whether someone can relate how Faye was feeling or not.
Because she's quite clearly I don't want to say she's protective because of things in the past and the way she's been treated in the past, and I think a lot of people could relate to that. Yes, she she was quite fiery. The way she went off on Teddy after movie night was, it really was kind of unacceptable. Was that difficult being in the villa, Matthew, when that was happening? Did you? What was the atmosphere like? We only saw a couple of minutes of it.
Yeah, it was honestly toxic, like, and I said I wanted to leave that night because I had never been around people who acted like that before, and it really hit me hard because, watching Teddy and just screaming at Teddy and screaming at Deal. Tyler was telling me not to say anything, but see if it was the outside world, I would have been a lot different. I would have been flipping. I would have lost the plot, like, but I just had to calm myself. I just didn't want to get dragged down with it and stuff. But yeah, that was really, really tough. And even days after that and stuff, I was trying to organize something nice for Teddy, like all the lads go out to like play football or something. But then Island Vibes Club came up and it sort of raised the mood and stuff. So we didn't have to. But yeah, it was really difficult. Like,
so it was. I mean, because for us, I actually felt quite sorry for Faye, thinking she's got to go through all of whatever that's causing her to be distrustful, etc. There's obviously something there, and I felt quite sorry for her having to go through that. But I guess you don't see the wider impact on everybody else in the villa if someone tries to handle like that.
Yeah, well, that's it. You can have your own issues, but you can't take it out on other people who are innocent people who are who done nothing really wrong, like, because it's not fair and everybody else, like. But I understand from her perspective too, like.
Were you worried about her, Sharon? Because you were quite close when you were two together, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, from a at-home viewer perspective, I was quite concerned by the reaction. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I don't know if anybody had stepped in terms of the girls to say something to Faye. I think I felt a bit out of a loss because had I been there, I would have said something before it got to the point of her literally screaming. And I think I think it was distressing for everyone to watch, but I think being as close as I was to Faye, it was even more hard to like, because I knew what she'd been through in the past. Like she'd really opened up to me in the villa, so like I could see from her perspective why she was behaving like that. But obviously, like I didn't find it acceptable either, and I was really concerned that no one was saying anything.
That was the big thing for me. Me and Liam were talking to each other at the fire pit when that all kicked off and stuff, and we're like, why are the other girls not stepping in? Because if it was one of the boys were acting that way, we would have been like, you know, why are you doing this? Just relax, like, you know.
You just need a good friend to step in at that point, and like you said, Sharon,
I think the Liam said to Millie, and she did actually say to her at one stage. He told me, I didn't see it or anything, but yeah.
It's I hope they last for a while, and I hope this will help her when she gets out with getting over some of those things. I think they're quite a nice fit together. Teddy seems to be so laid back, but it does seem a shame that, and I think what's been missing, Sharon, since you left, is that you two were kind of the only ones in there that would say, out of the girls, who would kind of sort of speak your mind, and it got labelled as, admittedly, Faye was very fiery in his times, but some of the other times where you just sort of spoke your mind, it got labelled as fiery. Did that make you a bit angry? Because, you know, with all the stuff with Aaron saying you were too fiery and everything, you were just saying what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was kind of that painful realization that in most of my dating life, I feel like I've had to put myself down or fit myself into a smaller box into not upsetting somebody else. When realistically, in my opinion, if you can't call your friends out on their behavior and say how you feel to people that are supposed to be the closest to you, then what's the point of having them in your life, realistically? I think at that point with the...
Oh, Sharon, we've lost your sound. We lost your sound for a second. Oh, we seem to have lost you. I don't know if there's something cutting in. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, we got you back. Sorry about that. You said.
Sorry. So countryside Wi-Fi. No, for me it was more like upset out of frustration that this is like a reoccurring theme, and it's a reoccurring theme that women should be allowed to kind of speak their mind and without like kind of upsetting people and impacting your dating life. And I mean, it was a reoccurring thing for me. Being called fiery was probably the least of the words I was concerned about in terms of public opinion with some of the things that I'd said. But you know, like I'm not gonna stop being myself for that.
What was the reaction that you got when you came out? Did you get a lot of people being supportive of you after, you know, the way, you know, Aaron had said this stuff, Danny had said, oh, you might be too fiery and too educated for him? I was like, are you all kidding? You know, you're a great woman who's got a great job, and they're kind of using that against you for your dateability. And I was like, that says more about them than you. Have the public mostly supported you in that, or did you say that you'd had some horrible comments as well?
I think it very much depended on the kind of demographic of the public. In terms of women that were similar to my age or people that felt like they could relate to me, there was a lot of support. Strangely enough, from younger teenage boys, it was quite vulgar, vile messages. And that slightly concerns me. I think most of the trolling and hate that I've got has come from younger people, whereas most of the support I've got is people that can relate to how I was in the villa and that kind of reaction I got from specific other islanders. So it's been a very mixed bag. But for me, like the trolling was expected. I think in terms of the violence in some of the messages, I think that was the more unexpected part. But for me, the good messages completely outweigh the bad.
But the fact that there's violence in any messages, it's insane. You know, if you're on a show, are you okay with it now? Are you dealing with it all right with some of these awful things?
I think for me, it's a bit concerning at the age of some of the people. Like I remember, I think part of the problem is people don't think that I actually see it. You know, I know you're sending it to me, and I know I do get a lot of messages, but 95% of the time I will see it. And I think the one that really stuck with me was a voice note from a group of lads that lived in the other end of the UK. They must have been about 14, 15, sending me voice notes telling me to either go kill myself, or if they see me in the street, that they'll hurt me. And for me, it's really concerning because I was more concerned about why they felt like they could send messages like this as opposed to what they were sending to me. At the age of 14 in my summer holidays, I was playing football at the local park. I wasn't sending somebody almost double my age a vulgar message on the internet. So I think it really, like, there's obviously some part missing where young people feel like they can send these messages to people.
And that it doesn't hurt them, or it doesn't matter, or they don't care if it does, because they're thinking, oh, that's fine, she's fair game, we're sending it. I mean, it's shocking that it is the younger people doing it. You'd think that there'd be sort of more sort of everyone being a bit more tolerant and all that. That's what we hear. But I mean, for young teens to be sending you things like that it's unbelievable. Did you contact the police for any of it?
I did for some of the more like the worst messages. I did contact the police, but I think it's very hard when it comes to like fake profiles and things like that to actually track certain people down. But for me, like I have said in my social media that I'm in a fortunate position where I have a very good like friendship circle, and ITV are so supportive of me that I feel like I can deal with those messages. But where my concern is that I don't know what every Islander is like. I don't know what their mental health space would be like when they leave the villa, and I don't want an Islander who's not in the headspace to deal with it, or doesn't have the same support that I do to get these messages, because the consequences could be far worse than me going on Instagram and saying, I've had enough of you sending me these messages.
Yeah. How's it been for you, Matthew?
Oh, I've been like, I haven't really received any bad messages, which I'm very grateful for. But just to add to Sharon's point there, I feel like people need to be careful about what they say to people, like, because at the end of the day, we've seen in the past what happens, like if somebody's not in the right headspace and they're getting abused and stuff, and the social media platforms need to step up. Like, I don't know how much can happen before they, actually take serious action. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's disturbing that this is still going on, still happening after what we've learned in the last after the things that have happened in the last few years connected to, there's people coming off reality shows, let's put it that way. Going back to the couples. We'll go back to the couples going through the final, and then perhaps we can talk more about this afterwards. We then got Liam and Millie, who have obviously been through the mill. Do you think Millie should have forgiven Liam?
I'll let you
Sharon.
Matthew.
You were a fan of Millie, were you, Sharon, when she first came in?
No, I actually am a massive fan of Millie. She was very approachable, very nice girl from day one. So, I've always liked her. But I think for me personally, I wouldn't have taken Liam back. But if she's happy and she feels comfortable and confident enough with the discussions they've had, I'm not really in a position to judge. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and so I love the both of them. Like, they're amazing people. And Liam, even off camera, Liam was just groveling. Like, it was hilarious, like, to the rest of us, because he was groveling. And she was it as well. She was enjoying it, so it was funny to see. But yeah, they obviously really love each other. Like, so it's nice to see.
What was the most cringy thing you saw Liam do?
Oh, geez, put me on the spot here. No, I actually can't remember, if I'm honest. But there's just funny comments and everything. Like, he was just falling around like a wee puppy dog.
The fact that he did what he did in Casa Amor with Lily, and he was kind of one of the worst, and because there was, to me, it was him saying, "Oh, I really, I'm really tempted by you," or whatever, however he phrased it to Lily in bed, was almost as bad as him snogging her, because it's that kind of like all the stuff he was saying. If I was Millie watching that, I would be sort of heartbroken. Do you think, one, Millie's going to still forgive him when she watches it back? And two, do you think that he has changed enough? Because if he did that when he was being filmed on national TV, what's he going to do when he's out of sight, not being filmed in the real world?
That's a good point, to be fair. And I can see why people would doubt him. But at the same time, when you're in there, like I said the same thing about Toby. I said to his face, like, from the outside, I watched you, and you're a boy, and then when I'm in the inside now, you're a man. Like, and I feel the same about Liam. You know, he's matured a lot in there, and he's very supportive of everybody. He's a very good person. Like, so obviously you can't make predictions, but yeah, I do think he's genuine. Like.
Okay. Well, that's a bit better. And Toby and Chloe, obviously. I mean, these have got to be. Honest, Toby was doing my head in at that point. I just could not believe it. Well, I mean, you both spent a lot of time with him. What do you think their chances are?
I think they'll win it.
I actually think they'll win it. Yeah.
Are rightful winners, in my opinion.
We were talking before as well. Toby's completely changed, hasn't he? He's gone from being somebody who's like, you know, he kept reminding me of that dog in Up that as soon as he hears squirrel, he's like running around. It's like as soon as there was a new girl, he was like Toby's head was turned, and then suddenly he's become this. You know, look at him. He's like completely and utterly smitten. Has that been interesting for you to watch, and do you think it'll last? Yeah,
it's been really, really nice to watch, and honestly, them two are the funniest people to be around. Like, I love the both of them because, like, Chloe is honestly the funniest girl I know, and Toby is just a life. Like, Sharon will attest to this. Like, he's just so much fun around the villa. Like,
yeah, definitely. Like, they're the kind of couple that, like, their banter is like second to none, and the way they are with each other around the villa. And realistically, I think that they're one of the couples that come out of this series and go the distance. So that's why I think they'll win.
Yeah, are they the ones you both want to win as well? If you know, are they the ones you both would vote for to win?
I don't want to say favorites. Like, I do think they're the most rightful winners, if that's a good way to. Yeah.
Oh, but you're secretly backing someone else. I like it.
Do you know what? Actually, I think I'm in a position where I don't feel like I can vote, because the couples that are now left are like have been a massive part of my journey, and I can't pick a favorite couple. Yeah. But I do think that, like, the public perception of Chloe and Toby has changed so much, and like we're really starting to see them more as a couple rather than just two random people messing around and playing games. So yeah, I think that the public will definitely back Chloe and Toby.
I think they have got something. It just seems something quite settled with them two now, and I quite enjoy watching them. And of course, last but not least, we've got Kaz and Tyler, which obviously will be quite a difficult one for one of you there, Matthew. What do you think of them, Matthew? Is obvious. Last night we saw them go on their big romantic epic date.
Yeah.
And, I personally wasn't terribly impressed by Tyler's commitment level. So we'll work towards being boyfriend and girlfriend.
Where's my phone? No, honestly, yeah, I think they're very well suited towards each other. And I did say this a couple of times, is that when me and Kaz were together, I felt looking at Tyler and her together, it's just it's a different connection. Like they get on like a house on fire. So, you know, I wish them best. Like, I can't really say much more than that.
I think one of my favorite bits of the series has been that bit where you're eating the popcorn during the Mad movies, when Tyler's like being outed as a rat, and you are just smiling and eating your popcorn.
You know what was the funniest bit? Because Tyler was right beside me and he was freaking out, and I just couldn't help but laugh. It was so funny, like. But yeah, it was. He knew what was coming, and I think Kaz knew what was coming, so it was harmless fun at the same time, like.
So do you think they've got a chance of getting the title, or are they sort of no? And why not? Why?
It's probably a bit too far gone for both of them. Like, I think Kaz got a lot of negative opinion from me and her together, and then Tyler obviously with you know, going to Casa Amor and stuff. So you know, you can see with Liam and Millie didn't do anything and stuff, and so that's one person that's like drag opinion, and then Teddy, one person, you know, whereas both of them sort of got a negative reaction.
And you were quite close with Kaz. Were you upset, Sharon, that you've got that kind of negative reaction to how you play?
I'm not gonna lie, actually, when I was watching it, I was kind of Team Matthew as opposed to Team Tyler.
Thanks, Sharon.
So when I was watching, I was like, "What are you doing? Like, it's this guy like playing away in Casa Amor." I was like, "Come on!"
I'm buying me a drink when we get to London, Sharon.
Yeah, so I was part of Team Matthew, and I was watching it, and I was like, "Come on, realistically, like you've been in a couple for a couple of days. Do you really think he's going to be loyal in Casa Amor?" I expected him to come back with Clarice, and it happened. So, yeah, I wasn't really surprised by any of it happening. Obviously, I was upset because I'd obviously been there for Kaz when she was upset when everything was going on, when she kind of felt like nobody was coming in for her and that wanted her. And I was like, well, now someone's like literally said to you, and now you're like, oh, I don't really want it. It's like, well, what do you want? Like,
what do you want? Why are you going back to that one that's brought someone else in?
Yeah, so that's what I was like yelling at my team. I was like, what are you doing? What do you want? But yeah, it's a very intense game and very intense environment in the villa. So,
well, perhaps when they get to finally have a rap party and whatever pandemic times we can do something, then perhaps you two should have a talk. I quite like that. I'm kind of going to be TV here. I can do a bit of matchmaking there on my own. That put you all in an uncomfortable position. No, obviously, what we talked about them and who we think is going to win and everything, which is great. But like, what's it been like in terms of for you? Have you spoken? Well, first to you, to Sharon. Have you spoken to Aaron or Hugo since leaving? Because you had that tight connection with both of them.
I've had lunch with both of them since I've left. It's been spun in a very interesting way. So now that I'm dating both of them, apparently. But no, like when I left the villa, like I left the villa friends with everyone. So naturally, when everyone started to come out, I wanted to see everybody. I wanted to socialize, and you know, there's less pressure now. There's no cameras, and you're not worried about X, Y, and Z going on in the background. So for me, it was really natural to just want to see everybody. And like I feel like so far, like I've seen Aaron, Hugo, Brad, Chugs, like pretty much most of the gang since that have come out.
And do you think there could be a connection with Hugo, perhaps, or would there ever be another romantic connection with Aaron going forward?
No, not that I've now not. So like I've watched bits back, and the bits I've seen back, there is no chance in hell that I would ever go to either of them again.
What exactly put you off either of them? What bits did you see?
It was a comment that Hugo made in the first episode about me not being the type of woman you could take home to your mother and dad.
Yeah, forgot about that one. Yeah,
I was like, okay. My friendship group didn't appreciate that one. My group chat went off pretty bad. And then watching the footage back where Aaron had basically said a lot of things about my career, and it came across as if he was intimidated, and I can't have someone like that in my life as a romantic partner. So for me, like, neither of them are of any interest to me at all.
Yeah. And what about you, Matthew? You've been in touch with Priya because you had that tight connection with Priya. I was quite surprised that she went on and picked Brett. Another stab in the back for you. Honestly, these ladies are trying so badly.
We're not treating this. Yeah, obviously I was shocked at the whole situation, whatever, because previously that day we kissed again. She told me I was remaining focused, so you can see why I was a bit shocked. And then Brett went and made a mojito for her, so it must be a nice mojito. I said to him, he wrote to me, and I said, I want that mojito, lad. Give me that. Yeah, Priya reached out to me and said, she reached out to me and said sorry and stuff, and she thought it was really genuine, and could we catch drinks in London sometime? And I said, yeah, we catch drinks as friends, like, so.
But have you friend zoned her now, or is there any chance of relationship starting up.
Yeah, friends, 100%.
And she's lost, hasn't she? She's lost out there. Like, she was the guy that ended up giving her the ick, that she then got herself out of there just before the compatibility vote. Worst timing ever.
No, worst timing there is right, yeah.
It's like I saw you on TikTok and you sort of did that sort of reaction to boring. Were you sitting there at home with your bowl of popcorn again, like just
I was gonna do that, but I was like, I'm already having a bit of banter, like at the end of the day. But yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of enjoyable.
So you're gonna meet up with Priya, but that's it, friend zoned completely. No chance you can go back.
No, I never go back. Never.
You never go back. Oh my god, there's like in terms of work stuff, what have you both been up to since you left? Because you left your civil service job, didn't you? So Sharon, are you gonna go back? Are you interested in politics again? What are you gonna do?
So for me, it was more like a bit of a career break. My project had come to an end, like pretty much in line with when I was entering the villa. For me, like, I'm not completely taken my career off the table. It's definitely something that's in the forefront of my mind. I'd worked really hard to have it how it is, and I don't want to just drop it off straight away. But at the moment, like, I've been doing some really exciting things and things that I'm really passionate about. So I don't feel like I'm going to go through that traditional route that a lot of islanders take when they leave the villa. I've done a lot of work already, and I've done a self-penned article in Grazia about trolling, and doing a lot of work in terms of with young women. So I don't feel like I've completely left the political sphere, but maybe just taking a different stance on it instead of doing the administration, to like kind of do a bit more of the campaigning work instead.
I can see you being involved with a lot of that stuff going forwards, and we're going to see MP Sharon.
One of the questions I did get asked before I went in was, "Would you be Love Island's first MP?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that."
I like that. In fact, don't stop at MP, turn it to PM.
I mean, yeah.
I think you could probably do a better job than some people, but there we are. Like,
not naming names.
Talking of certain PMs, did you see Priya said that her celebrity crush was Boris Johnson? Matthew, how do you feel about that? When she also had a crush on you?
Yeah, I don't know. We're pretty uncanny, like Boris Johnson and me, So
pretty similar.
Like she said she liked tall and athletic guys, so I suppose Boris Johnson fits that mold, doesn't he?
Obviously, obviously he does. And I know you're talking about some of the mental health side of things that you've been trying to raise awareness on, Matthew. With I know you shared about your friend with terrible circumstances and what you were going through when you went in the villa. None of us would have had any idea you were going through such a hard time watching it. You're very brave to talk about that. How are you coping now?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just, it's the positive in life. It comes in waves, to be honest with you. So, like, I got the news, I think 2 weeks when I was in quarantine in Spain. And then, he was in hospital, intensive care for like a week. So he died like a week before Love Island, and Love Island were amazing to me. ITV, they're so supportive, and I was talking to psychologists and everything, and all the producers were visiting me and stuff to make sure I was okay. And it was a very tough time. When I got into the villa, I struggled, to be honest with you. Just the wave of emotions hit me, and I just thought, the post the other day, I was like, I may as well, make a positive out of it. Show like I'm not afraid to sit here and tell people who exactly I am, and like whether it's not the fun, flashy side of me, then that's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, I am who I am, and I think it's good to point all that negativity in a positive direction for other people, because you got a lot of nice positive messages from it, and which is really nice. So yeah.
And it's and it's nice for people to see that, you know, how you've dealt with it and feel that they can talk about these things as well. I'm so sorry for your loss. I know
I appreciate
and I know you've been through a really hard time since you come out as well, haven't you? You were telling me before we came on about, you know, you've got all these things going on. All right. What else? You know, what's your plan going forward? What ambitions have you got? That you want
Yeah. So I'm working on like a lot of projects at the same time, to be honest with you. All based around fitness and traveling and my mentality and business and lifestyle. So I'm launching a podcast. I'm doing Twitch. I'm going to be doing a lot of other things, a bit of modeling.
love it.
I'll talk to hopefully fitness side of things. And then I'm trying to sort out management at the moment. So I'm interviewing a lot of people, a lot of companies. So a lot going on. I'm very busy, and it's nice though. I like it. It's all fun. I enjoy it.
And it's non-stop. And you're back in Ireland, aren't you? So at least is it feeling good to be home for both of you two?
Yeah. It's nice being home, and I'm out in the sticks here, so it's you know, there's nobody about and whatever, so I can put the head down.
And about what going forwards with dating, is it now going to be a bit more difficult now you're both famous? Are you worried about meeting genuine people?
I honestly just go with the flow. Like I said a couple of times, love will find me if there's the right person that turns up. Like, I don't pressure myself, and I said that going into it though. I don't put any pressure on it. Whether I find love in a traditional sense with a girl, whether it's with one of the bros or the adventure itself, like I'm happy, like. So
is it and Sharon, you sort of you've said that you had a whole conversation about being like your sexuality that wasn't actually aired, but are you dating anyone yet? Are you worried about finding genuine people now that you're famous?
I don't think I'd ever use the word famous, right? But like, yeah, for me, it's just like I come back to pretty much my normal life, just a bit more exciting. But I'm not overly concerned at the moment. Like, I'm not really dating as per se. I think where the major concern is for me is that because I have male friends in the real world. I've been friends with them since I was young. The concern for me is that, do they feel comfortable coming out with me without the speculation of dating me, and then that impacting their dating life as opposed to my actual dating life, which is really weird. Yeah, it's a really weird concern to have, I think, but it does upset me.
I can see why that would be upsetting, but you don't think of it beforehand. You've now got to worry about all these things and how you impact on that. It's like, have either of you had any celebs like slide into your DMs? There's a lot of quietness. Yes. The follow-up question is who?
No, I'm not giving you any names. Sorry.
Could you give us a tease of you know roughly who they might be, not who they might be, but is it a nice hot footballer? Is it a pop star?
Some sports players, and some people from TV, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
I love it. And I'm hoping to see some of them turn into a nice romance. Is there anyone that's caught your eye that you were particularly a fan of beforehand?
I don't think so at the moment. It is interesting watching certain celebs that you knew of a long time ago, watching your Instagram stories. That always cracks me up. But I think at the moment I'm just playing everything by ear. I'm like Matthew, I'm not going to put any pressure on anything. It's just see what happens. I need somebody who's going to make me laugh, because otherwise conversations get very dry very easily.
Yeah. That must be true. It's like, have you had any really dodgy pictures sent through, either of you? Maybe you, Sharon, have you had any of those really dodgy ones? Have you had some as well?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, I've heard actually that the boys have had quite a lot of interesting photos coming through the DMs. Yeah, I think the boys have had it worse this time around than the girls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from what I've seen, like I've had a couple, but like when I went for lunch with Brad, Chugs, and Hugo, they were like, it's pretty bad. So I was like, oh, I didn't think it was as bad as it would be for me.
It's like, so you've had quite a few as well, Matthew, come through to you.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. I said my DMs are like the wild west right now. Like, you never know what you're gonna find in there. Like,
what do you say when you get something like? Well, how do you respond to that? Do you just?
I don't. I just scroll on.
It must be absolutely bonkers. Now, one thing I'd like to say is your the way you ended things with Kaz, Matthew, was epic. Really, I was cheering from my sofa when you did that, because I was like, "Do not be walked over anymore." So just want to say well done on that. We've got a little bit of a speed lightning round with some questions about the villa. So I think we got a sort of minute lightning round. So if we're going to be, just shout out the name that you think of first. The various ones are this, okay? Okay. Who's got the worst habits in the villa?
Hugo.
And why?
Hugo eats a lot. He snacks and snacks and snacks.
Who's got best personal hygiene and worst personal hygiene?
Probably Teddy's got the best. I don't know who's got the worst. I think everybody's got good hygiene. Okay,
so does anyone leave the toilet seat?
I have no idea. I'm sorry. This is terrible.
You're like, did anyone sneak any contraband in or steal anything when you left?
No, nobody did.
No, Sharon? Didn't steal anything?
I mean, I think loads of people took condoms when they left, but I don't really think that counts.
Are the branded Love Island ones?
Yeah.
Probably. Who would you, if you could pick any of the contestants at all, the Islanders, who would you really want to be coupled up with? Any of them at all that have been in there?
Now or before?
It could be any series actually. I was going to say any from this year that's been in there, whether you were in there at the same time or not.
Your girl Joanna for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I think you just made it harder for me to decide.
Okay, from this year, Sharon, from this year, who would you like?
Oh no. I feel like I can't put like my name on it, but I feel like the like lads in Casa Amor probably had a bit more like banter for me, so it would have had to be. I mean, that mic drop moment where Matthew was like, "Yeah, I'm done with Kaz." I think that's like, yeah. I backed that. That was quite funny.
I love it. I'm going to go and buy a hat like Scylla. I'm matchmaking. We also got another little game we want to play, right? Snake or mate. Because some of the people in there have been a little bit snaky, and some of them could just be genuinely nice. So I just want your opinions, and when we say them, just shout out whether you think they're a snake or a mate. Danny.
Sharon, you take us home.
I'm gonna say snake.
Ooh.
I think so. He said. I mean, he was terrible what he said to you, and there was some dodgy stuff before he went in. Some dodgy sort of tweets and things that they found. So, okay, all right. Next one, Hugo.
Sharon again.
I'm gonna say mate.
There was a sort of half and half, wasn't it?
Can I say brother? Can I say brother instead? Does that make it any better?
Yeah. Liberty.
Mate.
Yeah. All right. We got Aaron.
Oh no! I'm gonna say snake. Sorry, Aaron.
Jake.
Oh. Sharon again.
No, don't leave these to me.
You do have to answer some of them.
He's a mate to me in there.
Yeah. He's a mate to you, Sharon.
Yeah, he was a mate to me as well.
Oh, okay, I like it. Kaz.
Go on, Matthew.
Nick. I'll say mate.
Brad.
Mate.
Poor Brad. I felt for him after the whole Lucinda thing. Yeah. Chloe.
Mate.
Yeah, I'd say mate.
Toby. I think.
Mate.
Yeah, mate. It depends when you ask us, right?
Yeah, exactly. A couple of months ago, we would not have been the same. Faye, who we sort of said about Faye.
I'll let Sharon take us on.
I'm gonna say mate from my experience.
Yeah, I like it. Chugs.
I'm gonna say snake because he's really annoying.
Really?
We're really good friends in the real world. No, we are really good friends in the real world. But I just think at the time when he was in the villa, he'd had conversations with every girl and told every girl that they were his type. And then he'd had a conversation with me and told me that as well. But all of the girls are blonde and I'm brunette. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to say snake for that reason.
Is his type just female, do you think, maybe? So maybe he wasn't lying.
I mean, his line to me was like, oh, I normally date blondes. I feel like it's time to switch it up. And I just looked at him and this is a really bad conversation. I was like, girls in the villa talk to each other, right? We already know what you've said to each other.
Just honestly. There's like Liam.
Mate.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. I'm not a very forgiving person, clearly. I'm still about the Lily thing. Lucinda.
I'd say mate.
Right. Matthew?
I don't know either of them, to be fair. Like, so
okay. It's like I can't listen to anyone say really again after
every time I say it in a sentence, I think of Lucinda. And I was like, I'm like conscious of do I say it like that or do I not?
Do I not say it like that? It was just it was grating on my nerves during the thing. What was your highlight? What was your favourite moment in the villa of your own journey? I hate to use the word journey, but you know what I mean. Your favourite time from your time in the villa?
I would say mine was probably something that probably didn't get used, just everyone, because there's so much time in the day to fill. I think we were just making our own entertainment. And I think a lot of that was probably my best moment because you got to see a very different side of everyone. Everyone's really personable and friendly, and you got on really well. And even just being in the pool, messing around, or getting ready for the challenges. I think the stag and hen challenge was pretty funny when we were putting our tutus and headbands on.
I quite like the line of beauty as well.
I didn't. I didn't at all.
I
was so uncomfortable. I was like, my parents had never even seen me with a drink in my hand. Now they're going to see me take my clothes off on TV.
Oh my gosh, what did they say what did they say afterwards?
My brother said that he skipped that part of the episode.
So your parents didn't watch it? You just
they all skipped that part because I think they'd watched a couple of the girls do it and they knew what was coming. So they were like, we're going to turn over and come back in a minute.
Oh, bless them. That's great. That's what you want. It's what have your parents been like, Matthew, watching you on screen? Have you had the same sort of thing, some things you didn't want them to see?
Nah, I didn't really care. My ma didn't watch any of it because she was too nervous. She was a typical Irish mum, where she cares for you, like son, my dad was glued to it. He was reading all the gossip magazines, all that stuff, so he was loving it.
I love the different response there of your mum and dad. Were you with your mum proud? You didn't do anything too embarrassing. What was your favourite moment in there?
Sounds weird. There's a lot, but one of them that sticks with me is the last morning I was there. We're just chatting and stuff, and then we all just jumped in the pool and we're just messing about and stuff. It feels weird because you're just living in the moment. It felt pretty good, but it doesn't seem like a big moment, but it's just the one that sticks with me the most.
I wish we kind of saw a little bit more of that. I do like the unseen bits on the Saturday because you see when you're kind of just being natural and hanging out.
Obviously, there's only a certain amount that can fit into the main episodes.
Yeah.
A certain side to people, and
it has to be the storyline stuff.
Exactly.
It's quite nice to see the other side. And what I did sort of pick up on from some of the unseen bits was I think you two were both very intelligent in the villa. Some people slightly lacking in some of the common sense side of things. Priya's, you can see dinosaurs if you look from Mars with a giant telescope and look back at Earth. I think it's a bit out on the science. I don't know if you saw that bit. I think my favourite bit from this week was Millie saying with the asparagus and saying, "Is this an aphrodisiac?" and Lee saying, "Asparagus." Did they make you laugh with some of these sort of clangers?
Yeah, they're priceless. The unseen bits are the funniest bits. Like,
yeah,
they're my favorite episodes.
When you watch them back, sometimes you forget those are things have happened. So I think there was one bit where I was teaching Faye the alphabet, and I'd completely forgotten that had happened.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that had happened as well. It does stagger quite a few questions here about our education system. I'm not going to lie. It's like, I'm glad you two did us proud on both of them. So thank you both so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed chatting to you. I'm looking forward to the final, but I'm looking forward to seeing what both of you carry on and do after this, because you've been great fun to watch and great fun to talk to you today. So thank you. And Matthew, just to see us out, I wondered if you might recreate that lovely way you put it to Kaz.
Yeah, we're done.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.